This video is going to focus on the first of the Constitution's key principles, and that's popular sovereignty. So, popular sovereignty is really two things. First, it's the idea that in this country, the government exists to represent the will of the people. Like, the government's not just doing its own thing for its own benefit, it's supposed to be representing what the people want. And the really key part of this idea is that in this country, people have the ability to impact like what the government does and how it works, right? So popular sovereignty is really like the power of the people. So the good examples of popular sovereignty would be like voting. Voting's the best example. Like that's how we impact the government is we go to our polling places and we elect for government officials, right? So we have the ability to impact government. If politicians are doing what we want, we vote for them again. If they're not doing what we want, we vote them out of office. Or the idea of like putting pressure on government, marching, boycotts, demonstrations. This is an example of the Civil Rights March in the 1960s, right? Trying to show our politicians that we're not happy, we're not satisfied, and we want them to make some kind of change. So popular sovereignty definitely exists more on like the state level. So states tend to have even more ways that the people can influence like politics. So like, for example, there are a whole bunch of states, 18 of them, in fact, including California, highlighted in the red, that once a politician is elected, they allow the citizens to actually recall them. So like, let's say the governor of California is elected to a 4-year term. The people in California obviously use their political power to put the governor there in the first place. But that governor makes a bunch of promises. The governor is in office for 4 years. If the citizens are not happy in California and in 17 other states, Pennsylvania's not one of them, the citizens don't have to wait for that 4 years to end before they elect somebody else. They can have a special election and they can just get rid of the existing governor. That's a lot of power that the people can actually recall their elected officials and get rid of them before their terms are over. Also, on the state and local level, we have what are called like referendums. These are when voters decide directly on issues instead of just voting for candidates. Like, for example, there are a bunch of states that historically, back in the day, allowed their state to decide if they're going to be a slave state or a free state. Or in modern times, for a while, until the Supreme Court ruled that every state had to allow it, states were voting on whether or not they wanted to allow same-sex marriage. Or today, some states will vote on whether or not they want marijuana to be legalized or minimum wage to be increased, right? It's the citizens actually voting yes or no when they go vote. The best local example of this recently was the middle school referendum, where basically taxpayers in Abington, citizens of Abington, were asked, do you want the middle school to be built? Yes or no? And the citizens actually get to decide directly on the issues instead of relying just on your politicians. So again, the first principle of the Constitution and our government is called popular sovereignty.